So I've been living in England for 17 years. For much of that time, we've lived in a small village where the commute to church was an 8-minute walk. And when we would be walking to church, it's like all these other families and their kids would be walking to church. Doors would open up as we walked past and people would join us and we'd say, "Hey, good morning, how are you? Doing really well." And then we would all stream into the church. It was really beautiful because we didn't have to create community at the church. We lived in the community of the church. Came back to the States, though, and we lived in one place during the summers, but we would have to drive to church every single time. If we walked, it'd be like a 2-hour walk. So we would drive. And what I found is that if you actually have to commute to church, then you have to create community at the church. Because it's not the church's community per se. It's not the neighborhood of the church. This is at some distance. Well, what does this mean? I'm not sure how old you are, but I would imagine you're a teenager. And you might be wondering about your own community. Look, we live in very difficult times. A culture that increasingly disfavors Christians. Maybe you've faced that yourself. I don't know, maybe you attend a public school, or maybe you're homeschooled, or maybe you go to a Christian school. Still, the culture round about us is not favoring Christians. And you might be wondering about how you can find a good, solid Christian community. And the simple fact is, you might not be able to. It's hard at times. But I bet what you can find is at least one friend who's a Christian. Someone you can confide in, someone who can trust you. And that's a good place to begin, because then I bet the two of you can find another person that you trust in, you can confide in. You take the risk. You invest in their lives, they invest in your life. You express some camaraderie. This is a good first step, I suppose, but something else I'd like to note is that it's quite easy when you're young to feel like the world is against you. Not just the world out there, but your parents are against you, your church is against you, your school is against you. It's like everything's against you. And I don't know if that's where you're at, but I remember being in that place from time to time when I was younger. And I want you to know that it's not true. A lot of people are for you, not against you. It may sound like they're against you because they tell you not to do certain things that you want to do, that you want to experiment with, or maybe that your friends do. But it's not because they dislike you. It's not because they don't want you to thrive. It's because they want you to thrive. They want to help us not make the wrong decisions. And you know what? That's part of what it means to have community. So as you look at people who are older than you, look, give us a chance. You might be surprised at how much we actually care about you, apart from those times where we're telling you off for doing something wrong. Yeah, we don't always want to do that. But when we do that, it's because we care about you. So, do me a favor, do us a favor. Give us a chance to be part of your community.